Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. Tonight we are continuing on with the BYNV Nazarene version series, where we're reading from the beginning all the way through. Now we are on Genesis or Bereshit 2. Thus the Shamayim and the Eretz, the heavens and the earth, were completed in all their array. And on the seventh Yom, or seventh day, Yahuah halted his work which he had done. And he rested on the seventh Yom, or seventh day, from all his works which he had made. And Yahuah blessed, or baruched, the seventh Yom, and set it apart, because on it he rested from all his work which Yahuah, in creating, had made. These are the births of the Shamayim and the Eretz, the heavens and the earth, when they were created in the Yom, or day, that Yahuah made Eretz and Shamayim. Now no shrub of the field was yet on the Eretz, and no plant of the field had yet sprung up, for Yahuah Elohim had not sent rain on the Eretz, and there was no man to till the ground. But a mist went up from the Eretz and watered the entire surface of the ground. And Yahuah Elohim formed the man out of the dust from the ground, and breathed it into his nostrils, breath of life. And the man became a living being. Compare verse 126. And Yahuah Elohim planted a garden in Eden to the east, and there he put the Adam, human, whom he had formed. And out of the ground Yahuah Elohim made every tree grow, that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, with the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became 4 riverheads. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Keilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. Aromatic resin is there, and the shoham, or onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon, and it is the one surrounding the entire land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Kadakel. It is the one which goes toward the east of Ashershur. And the fourth river is Pherat. And Yahuah Elohim took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. And Yahuah Elohim commanded the man, saying, Eat of every tree of the garden, but do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For in the yom that you eat of it, you shall certainly die. And Yahuah Elohim said, It is not good for the man to be alone. I am going to make a helper for him as his counterpart. And from the ground Yahuah Elohim formed every beast of the field and every bird of the Shamayim, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all livestock, and to the birds of the Shamayim, and to every beast of the field. But for the man there was not found a helper for him as his counterpart. So Yahuah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall on the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh in its place, and the rib which Yahuah Elohim had taken from the man he made into an Ashah, or wife, and he brought her to the man. Hebrew Ashah refers to a female. Our word woman means womb, man. And the man said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one is called Ashah, because she was taken out of Ash. The Hebrew Ash means male. For this cause a man shall leave his father and mother, and cleave to his Ashah, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his Ashah, yet they were not ashamed. And Bereshit, Genesis 3. And the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which Yahuah Elohim had made. And he said to the Ashah, Is it true that Yahuah has said, do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the Ashah said to the serpent, we are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahuah has said, do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the Ashah, you shall certainly not die, and for Yahuah knows that in the day the yom you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Yahuah, knowing good and evil. And the Ashah saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. And they heard the sound of Yahuah, Elohim, walking about in the garden in the cool of the yom, or the day, and Adam and his Ashah hid themselves from the presence of Yahuah Elohim among the trees of the garden. And Yahuah Elohim called unto Adam and said to him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself. And he said, Who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, the Ashah whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And Yahuah Elohim said to the Ashah, what is this that you have done? And the Ashah said, the serpent deceived me, and I ate. And Yahuah Elohim said to the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed more than all livestock, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you are to go and eat dust all the yomim, or the days of your life. And I put enmity between you and the Ashah, and between your seed and her seed. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. To the Ashah he said, I greatly increase your sorrow and your conception. Bring forth children in pain, and your desire is for your husband, and he does rule over you. And to the man he said, because you have listened to the voice of your Ashah, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, do not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you are to eat of it all the yomim, or the days of your life. And the ground shall bring forth thorns and thistles for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you are to eat bread until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you return. And the man called his Ashah's name Kuah, because she became the mother of all living. And Yahuah Elohim made coats of skin for the man and his Ashah, and dressed them. And Yahuah Elohim said, see, the man has become discerning to know good and evil. And now lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat, and live forever. So Yahuah Elohim sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. And he drove the man out, and he placed cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to guard the way of the tree of life. Alright, next time we will be reading Genesis 4 and 5. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuah and the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth.